Hey everyone, this is Steven, writer and creator of the Nightmare Trials podcast. And the first thing I wanted to say is thank you all so much for going on this ride with me as we are about to conclude the mid-season finale for season 2 here. It's been something that has been in the back of my mind for a while that I wanted to pull out. I just wasn't sure when I wanted it to happen. And I decided to make it happen sort of in season 2 and make it a mid-season finale. So hopefully you enjoy this next episode. You will be hearing from our professor here in just a minute, but I just wanted to give a heartfelt thank you to every single one of you who listen to this podcast weekly. I'm just a dude, a dad, a father, a husband, just doing something out here that is just beyond me, really. I do my best, and the fact that I have so many people that follow and listen to the podcast week in, week out, interact with me on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, and even YouTube now. I have people reaching out to me there. It blows my mind, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all. So I just appreciate y'all so much, and as always, love y'all.
No, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with it. I shouldn't be doing this. Why are we having these issues right now? I don't care. Fix it. I have a show to do. Hello, listeners. As we peer into the void, we often wonder what may be there peering back. And in this episode, we get a glimpse of what resides within that darkness. Something terrifying, ominous, and to me all too exciting. I cannot wait to see where this goes. But let's go ahead and jump into The Void, Part 2. Strap in tight. The trials are about to begin.
Part 4, The Unraveling.
They once begged for release. They screamed in agony to be heard. And now they wish once again be entombed within the fragile body of this boy. To be able to remember the fractured and forgotten lives they once lived. Drenched in the misery of pain and suffering. To be able to feel anything at all. But the void does not give. It only takes. And as their essences drift within the shadow of nothingness, all memories are lost. All feeling withering away until they are no more than empty husks of visceral meat to be spat out and live within the veil. Our realm, where those who watch reside in a place of unreality. And you know them all too well. Isn't that right, Lilith?
Lilith stands before the Watcher, known as Nicodemus, the keeper of the veil, his visage like that of a rogue planet, drifting through the emptiness of the universe. Beside her stood Simon and Earl, her protectors, each acting as the embodiment of her two halves. Earl, an agent of pure chaos, hunger, and destruction, and Simon, the architect of connected reality, his genius surpassing that of any other being she had ever known. She breathes in deep, holding in the stale air, contemplating how she would bargain with this being.
Nicodemus, You know this opening of the void is too early. Its time was not ready.
You speak of time as if it matters. You know it means nothing here.
Yes, I know. But that was our original deal. You were to give me the time, ability to harness the void, to reshape every reality in my own manner, rather than this random mess that birthed itself into existence.
The deal was for the boy to break the veil once he had collected enough essences to grow my brethren and release us from our prison.
But we aren't ready. It was too soon. You must give us more time.
Time. You always ask for more time. And I give you your precious time. And ask for nothing in return. The void is open. And there isn't much I can do to stop it. Not for free.
What do you require?
Merrick ran through the poorly lit cave system, a wry smile on his face. He had watched as the Devourers picked and prodded at the boy as they began to take bites out of his skin, and he was in awe as he saw the child's face change. It was slow at first, a woman cackling maniacally as one of the leather fuckers pulled the flesh from the boy's forearm, chewing it and squealing with delight as they swallowed. Another face appeared shortly after, a man who appeared to be screaming as if he had lost his damn mind, his eyes rolling into the back of his head. Then another face, and another, and another. It was like watching a bomb tick down the seconds before detonation, the faces moving more rapidly as the boy's body was consumed. He slowed his pace and placed his hand against a partially decayed forearm, the putrefied fat squishing between his fingers. He violently shook his hand, causing congealed globules to fling off in every direction. He felt his stomach lurch. It wasn't due to the thought of rot and death squishing within his hand that made him queasy. It was more of a texture thing for him. There was nothing worse than having the feeling of something slimy or sticky on his hand.
Well, I guess the sound of sandpaper is worse. There's something about that coarse grinding that just does me in.
He wiped his hand on his old and grimy sweatpants and thought once more about the Devourers. He wasn't sure why it had happened and how they could have been so wrong, but it happened nonetheless. As those ancient bastards consumed the flesh of the boy, he noticed the black creeping fluid begin to make its way throughout the veins on their exposed arms. He thought that it was maybe something normal for them, almost as if they were powering up to open the void and allow for him to pass through and make his move towards owning all of reality. It wasn't until he saw the one who took the first bite begin to literally melt before his eyes that he realized something wasn't quite right. It appears that consuming the conduit wasn't the way to get back to their home. It gave them no power. Instead, it infected, the Devourers becoming the victims of their own namesake. And as they dissolved in front of him, Merrick decided that it was probably a good idea to get gone, and fast. So he ran, and he ran. He heard something like an explosion, which caused him to pick up his pace, and he didn't stop until just now, seeing the light at the end of this tunnel, his way of escape from this ancient tomb and back into the imprisonment within the head of Foster. He battled with the thought, contemplating on what to do next. There was no way for him to stay within this cave forever and be free. It wouldn't be the life he wanted to live. No madness, no mayhem, no fucking food or water to sustain his body. But leaving outside of these walls will give Foster back the reins, and he was sure that this time he would not give him the light once again.
What to do, what to do.
He felt a pressure begin to build in his sinuses, slowly moving its way up and into his frontal cortex, and like a psychic punch, he felt his brain jostle to the side, and the world around him began to tilt. He braced his hand against the wall, mushing his fingers once again within the congealing fluids of the person stuck and rotting within their enclosure.
Oh, God damn it.
And he heard his voice. Clear as day, he heard his fucking voice.
Merrick, you know you can't stay here. It will kill us. We will wither away into nothingness without food or water.
Merrick shakes his head and slams his fist on the wall, shattering the lower row of teeth from a skeletonized jaw.
Fuck you, Foster. I'm not giving you back the light. I can't. Not when I am this close to something so goddamn great. I won't do it. I will kill us in here.
There was a long silence, almost to the point where Merrick believed that Foster had retreated back within his mind. Another psychic punch, and this time Merrick fell to his knees, gasping for breath as if he were just elbowed in the diaphragm.
Listen here, you pathetic piece of shit. I created you. I have allowed you the light without my permission, and I have even negotiated with you so you can go out and have your fun. Let's be clear here, I fucking control you, not the other way around. And if you do not listen to me now, I will end your ass.
Then why don't you just go ahead and fucking do it? If you are so sick of me, the one who protects you, the one who has set you free, then just fucking kill me. I am done being the outcast murderous altar within the fucked up head of another murderous monster. I only want my freedom. And if you won't give me that, then I choose death.
There was another long silence, one that seemed to stretch out for hours, and Merrick began to laugh, rising to his feet and dusting the dirt from himself.
Holy shit. You actually can't kill me. Can you, Foster? Is that why you are so silent right now? You and Logan need me, don't you? Maybe I am taking up so much space within your mind that I have become something more than just an altar. Maybe I am a tangible part of your subconscious broken free. And maybe it isn't you who I need to negotiate with to retain the light. Maybe it is you who should be negotiating with me for the light. That's it, isn't it? I am in control, not you. Well, fuck you, Foster, and fuck your pathetic little body here. I'm making my way to that kid and I am walking into the void. I have plans, and you and Logan can just sit back and watch as I destroy every goddamn reality.
With his head held high and a confident gait, Merrick began to walk further towards the light at the end of the tunnel, feeling more emboldened with each step that he took, because with every pace he could feel Foster retreating further and further within his mind. And as he takes the final step out into the world, he feels the shift, like a separation of his body and soul. He turns, looking back into the mouth of the cave, and seeing the two figures of Foster and Logan as they fade away into the shadows. Aubrey and Mr. Fields follow Simon through the mist. The task they have before them weighing hard on their minds. Nicodemus had bargained with Lilith, asking for a sacrifice, but not just any sacrifice. He wanted the boy, the conduit of the void, the reason not fully understood by them. But it had appeared that Lilith understood the implications of giving the boy to him, and the rage she had emitted was intense. Aubrey had sworn that she felt her skin begin to peel back from her body and atomize.
Stay close to me, you two. There's something odd going on here. The mist feels too close, almost as if it is closing into a central location.
Aubrey took in her surroundings, noticing that the once wisping tendrils were now condensed into a fog. And Simon was right. It seemed as if it was all closing in on them, and the very real feeling of claustrophobia began to rise up within her as she began to panic. A hand softly fell on her shoulder, giving it a soft squeeze. She turns to see Mr. Fields staring into her, but the look on his face was soft, almost as if telling her that it was all going to be okay. And she wasn't sure why, but his touch and his affirming look put her at ease.
This way, and stay quiet. We aren't the only ones in here now.
She wondered what that meant. As far as she knew, the mist was the gateway between alternate realities that Simon had created, each door leading to a different point in time and space. Meticulously calculated, and what she assumed as heavily guarded. Could have been those they saw in the veil that were here. A door speeds by them, moving at a rate she has yet to see in this space. Simon nearly being impacted by the object. He stops his pace forward and turns to the two, fear burning within his eyes.
I didn't know that door was going to be there. There is something very wrong here.
You said we weren't alone here. Who else knows about this place? Who else could be in here with us?
The Watchers, the ones who live within the veil between reality and unreality.
How are they here, and what type of danger are we in?
You need to go now.
Another door speeds by, and Simon reaches out, stopping the missile-like object with one hand. The old wood of the frame cracking and splintering within his hand. He rips the door clean off the hinges, opening up the world.
Aubrey, Mr. Fields, there will be a man within this reality called the Toy Maker. His workshop only appears to those who are searching for him. Seek him out and tell him the Watchers have entered the mist. He will know what to do.
Within the mist, tall shadowed figures begin to appear, glitching and transporting through the space around them, inching closer to Simon. Their mouths open wide, as if in a scream, their limbs moving in quick, jerky motions.
Are you coming with us?
I must protect the mist. It is crucial to Lilith's plan.
Aubrey stares at Simon, seeing him for the first time, the mask of malevolence disappearing and being replaced with that of a father's fear. Whether that was for her and Mr. Fields or for the mist itself, she was not sure, and she didn't have time to process, as Mr. Fields scooped her up in his arms and ran them through the doorway. The once claustrophobic room now opening up into a landscape of rolling hills and tall mountains that seemed to touch the sky around them. She looks back to Simon and watches as dozens of hands pull him from the gateway, just as he collapsed the frame, effectively cutting Aubrey and Mr. Fields from ever entering the mist again. Part 5. The Toy Maker. The Toy Maker sits within the shadows of his shop, tinkering away at his most recent figurine, one made of ebony, the wood dense and as dark as the night. He carves away at the piece, humming a forgotten tune of a time long past, and it gives him pause. Why now, after all of these years, was this tune running through his mind? There had to be a purpose, Everything had a purpose.
So why now?
He says aloud as he gazes upon the hundreds of hand-carved dolls on the wall, their life-filled eyes staring back at him as if they wanted to answer, but they could not. He stands, dust falling from his shoulders as he does so. He must have been sitting here for ages. His muscles ached and protested as he moved towards the window, the floorboards of the old dilapidated shop creaking with each step. He peers outside and is met with nothing but endless darkness in all directions. Over the millennia, the darkness was more present than that of the light of reality. It comforted him like an old friend.
An old friend? Yes. This is why I am detoured with my past. An old friend calls to me.
And as if in response to his words, he sees it, the finger-like white and wispy appendage of the mist making its way towards him. He was being sought out.
The friend has called upon me. Could this be Simon? After all these years, after he had built me this home and has given me my purpose once again. But what is my purpose? I cannot remember. I create these vessels. I hold the essence. I punish those who deserve to be punished. But what is my purpose?
He ponders the thought while the mist lightly pushes its way up against his window, spreading out as if in a warm embrace. He walks to the door and opens it, allowing for it to make its way into his realm. And in an instant, a world materializes around him. And standing in his doorway was a woman with long black hair streaked with a ghostly white. She projected a raw power that he had only known but once before. Standing next to her was a middle-aged male, his face gaunt almost to the point of malnourishment. And his eyes, they told a story of a man who has seen more than anyone his age should have ever seen. But where was Simon? He beckons them in, searching the land around him one last time before he shuts the door behind them. Aubrey stares at the dolls lining the toy maker's shelves, taking in their lifelike appearance and noticing the spark in their eyes. It didn't unnerve her, but more so piqued her curiosity. She could feel the life these dolls provided and wondered to herself if they were somehow alive. And as she moved throughout the ramshackle store, she began to notice that those eyes followed her every move.
Why have you sought out the toy maker?
Aubrey turns to the man. Or was he a man? The taut, sickly pale skin around his face accentuated his skeletal features, and while he stood as tall as a man would, he had a noticeable hunch that hindered his true height. And his fingers. Dear God, his fingers nearly hung so low, they seemed to scrape the flooring below them. The thin, odd, jointed appendages looking like the spindly legs of a spider, each seemingly moving independently of one another in odd sporadic jerks and waves. She steals the unsettling feeling that resided within her.
Simon has sent us to find you.
Aha! Winslow knew it. He always knows when a friend calls.
Winslow?
Yes, I am Winslow, the toy maker. I craft these dolls.
He gestures around the shop, splaying his fingers out.
And I contain the essence inside of them, for safekeeping or for punishment. I cannot really remember.
Are you telling me that there are entities within these dolls?
Entities? Yes. They reside within, each a representation of the essence stored inside. Your friend here, he can tell it. I can see it on his face. He is like me. He has the gift of insight.
Aubrey turns to Mr. Fields, noticing the deep, penetrating stare and hard-set look on his face. It was the look he gave when he was peering within the fleshy tomb of a person, to see the essence inside of them. Sweat began to build around his hairline, slowly running down his forehead. He was concentrating, trying to understand what it was that he saw around him.
But he has yet to master the craft. Winslow can tell. He is overcome with the raw power contained within this room. The power to end or to create. And now tell me, Miss...
Aubrey. And this is Mr. Fields.
Yes, Aubrey. Such a lovely name. Tell me, Aubrey, why has Simon sent you to find me?
Listen, he's in trouble. We are all in trouble. The void is coming, and the veil has been broken.
And what of the Watchers, those bastard souls who live within the veil?
That's the thing, Winslow. Simon wanted us to tell you that the Watchers are in the mist.
The toy maker's eyes grew large, his breathing becoming heavy and strained. He looks to his workbench, staring at the ebony figure he was carving, slowly beginning to understand why he chose a wood as black as night, and why he was carving such an abstract figure.
No, it cannot be so. It is too soon. What of Lilith's plan? What of her rebirth? What of my purpose?
The door of Winslow's shop flies open, the door unhinging and flying across the room. In the entryway stood a figure drenched in shadows, standing tall, the air of arrogance and malice exuding from every pore of his body. He steps into the shop, his smile wide and eyes filled with a murderous intent.
Winslow, you old fucker, I'm here to make good on that promise.
Part 6. A Crude Encounter.
Merrick, how are you here? I thought that Foster had put you away.
Oh, no, sir. That rat bastard is no longer in control, and neither is Logan. I locked those assholes away inside the Devourer's cave. Consider them as lost souls now. And this magnificent specimen of a body is 100% genuine Merrick Ogletree, baby.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
Oh. Well, hello there, ma'am, and Skeletor. Allow for me to introduce myself. I am Merrick Ogletree, also known as the Happy Time Killer, a true menace to this world. And you see, I have a bit of an itch right now, one that needs scratched pronto, and I think that you two will do just fine with that.
Merrick reaches into his sweatpants waistband and produces a large butcher's knife, holding up the old rusty tool and admiring it as if it were the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. He ran his finger along the blade softly, and even though the blade itself appeared to be rusted and even dull, a small cut appeared, producing small droplets of blood. Aubrey turned to Mr. Fields, raising her eyebrow in mock awe. She couldn't understand who this man was. She had never heard of the Happy Time Killer or Merrick Ogletree. He must be a manifestation of whatever reality they are in now.
And what would be your plan with that, Merrick?
Well, I'm going to test out this newfound sense of control over my body. I think I will carve up your friend here first, fuck with his face a little bit, and peel back that disgustingly tight skin. And while he screams in agony, I may just let myself go and see how many times I can ram this knife into his gut before he dies. Then, when I'm done with him, I will move on to you. Maybe scalp that pretty head of hair you have off, and do some really unspeakable things to your lady bits. Nothing sexual. I'm not a monster like that. I don't find pleasure in taking away that part of a person. No, what really gets me off is watching that light in someone's eye fade into darkness. Hell, I can even almost see their soul lift right out of their body. And that, ma'am, that gets me hard.
Now, Merrick, I must protest against this. These two are not who they seem. Aubrey here
controls your body with just her mind, keeping you alive the whole time. And then, when she decides she wants to kill you, she will, only to bring you back as a mindless zombie, your essence trapped within a place that is neither living nor dead. And Mr. Fields can manipulate your mind with just a whisper, changing who you are fundamentally. This is not a kill you will relish in. It will be your undoing.
I'm sorry? They can do what now?
Make your move, and I can demonstrate exactly what I can do.
There isn't time. It is actually quite fortuitous that you have sought me out. Right now, right at this moment. It appears that the veil between reality and unreality has broken, and the Watchers have made their descent into the infinite realities.
Yeah, I know, and I may have had a hand in making that happen. Listen, Winslow, I found out about the Void, and I want to go there.
There are few who can walk between the veil. Only the most powerful of beings can do such things. You are nothing more than a man, Mary. Actually, you are the idea of a man, a coping manifestation who has somehow retained control of the body it inhabits. You would need a vessel that I myself could not make here. But wait, there may be another way. A living embodiment of the Void itself. The conduit. The boy.
The room goes quiet, each person staring at the toy maker, waiting for his next words.
You would need to possess him fully, becoming the conduit itself. And once this is done, you can step between reality and venture on to a place of unreality, where the laws of our known existence no longer apply. Time will be nothing more than a page in a book, something to turn at any moment. And in the end, this will fix the tear in the existence, holding it at bay until the time is right.
Show me how to do it then.
The toy maker turns to Aubrey and Mr. Fields, a look of knowing on his face, and he projected an image that only these two would understand. An end to the catastrophe taking place within the mist, an end to the convergence of the Void, and a promise upheld with Nicodemus. Aubrey nods to the man, affirming that she understood.
You must go now, to Simon. He needs you within the mist. Those who watch will filter through every existence, wreaking unimaginable havoc.
Hold up. Why does that name mean something to me? Simon. Holy shit. Simon? Foster's old therapist? There's no fucking way. That dude would be like 70 now.
Aubrey shook her head and took in a deep breath, letting it out loudly to show her annoyance with the man. She stepped through the door with Mr. Fields in tow, and they vanished from the toy maker's shack. Merrick sucked at his teeth and let out a soft sigh as the two disappeared, and he turned to the toy maker.
Could she really have done those things you said she could do?
Yes, and so much more than she even realizes.
Huh. It's odd, but I think I'm in love. Anyways, let's get to working. I have worlds that I want to fuck with, and you're going to help me get there.
Part 7. The Mist. Merrick steps from the toy maker's shack, the world around him fracturing into millions of fractals. And at its epicenter stood the boy, surrounded by the Watchers. He lifts the ebony-carved doll in his hand, admiring the craftsmanship, the minute details of each knife stroke, and the obsidian eyes that reflected light off its glassy surface. And with the confidence and swagger that only a man of his mental state could produce, he strode up to the boy, ready and willing to inhabit his body and transcend beyond the veil and into the never-ending darkness of the Void. Aubrey and Mr. Fields walk through the toy maker's door, and enter into the mist, its density thickening with each passing second. Aubrey hears scuffling off to her right, almost as if there was a fight happening. She turns that direction and begins to walk only for the noise to now be behind her, then above her. She needed to get to Simon, to help him hold off the Watchers as long as she could, until Merrick completed whatever he was going to do. But space itself moved differently here. It seemed as if every step she took, the fight would be in a different spot, or sometimes sounding miles away, and other times seeming as if it were right on top of her. She grew more and more frustrated, not knowing where to go, not being able to see more than a few feet in front of her. The anger inside her began to grow, her breathing picking up, and her heart beginning to race at an alarming rate. When she felt a hand touch her shoulder, she began to still, her anger slowly receding back inside of her. She reached up with her right hand, placing it on top of Mr. Fields, giving it a gentle squeeze. Mr. Fields softly grips her shoulder. She turns to him and notices he is pointing near her other hand. She looks down to see the familiar tendril of the mist, once again wrapping itself around her arm, softly probing and winding its way upward, and she feels the gentle tug as she is led through the thick fog. Simon stands still, holding his breath, shutting his eyes, sensing everything around him, the mist flowing through him, providing him information on the space he inhabited. He could feel them, lingering within arm's reach, ready to pounce at any moment. And as they crept in closer, pulling in the connective vapors between all realities, he would shift, making the distance between them grow by magnitudes. He heard their cries every time he moved through his space. The frustration that sounded from them made him smile that all-too-large smile. He was relishing in their agony, soaking it in like a sponge. But he knew this game would only last for so long. The Watchers had already condensed this space far more than it should have been, near the point of collapse. And while this was not something that would hurt any timelines, it was rather quite annoying. Collapsing the mist would be the end of Lilith's plan, and he would not let that happen. But he had to let this play out the way it was. He had to just wait long enough. He feels the swipe towards him, the hand appearing from nowhere and everywhere all at once. He turns, grasping the Watcher firmly by the arm, and yanks down as hard as he can, the space moving so fast that the appendage severs neatly midway up the forearm. There is a cry of pain above him, and Simon makes a lateral step, appearing behind the being, gripping it by its head and twisting as hard as he can. In front of him, he holds the open maw of the Watcher, its jaw twitching in sporadic jerks, almost as if it were trying to say something to him. But without a body to push air through the being's vocal cords, no noise was produced. He tosses the head aside, another arm reaches out. He takes a step upwards, seeing the rotted feet of the monster. He grabs the Watcher by the ankles and steps backwards, and the beast crumples to the ground. Hands wrap around him, holding him tight. Where did this one come from? He didn't feel its presence. His eyes widen as he feels the bite to his neck. He screams out with a cry of agony as he feels the stinging sensation of venom injecting into his body, the caustic fluid working quickly as his accelerated heart rate pumped his blood through his veins. His vision begins to blur as his legs weaken. The grip around him tightens even more as his body goes slack.
This This wasn't supposed to happen. How could I have been so careless?
He could feel the other watchers around him now. Thousands of them, slowly walking towards him from every conceivable direction, converging in on him with their masses, blinking throughout the space they would soon call their own. Simon raises his head, the skin around his face beginning to blacken and sag. He felt as if in moments it would fall from his facial muscles like melted wax. He would become one of them, and his mind would no longer be his own. It would belong to the space between existence and non-existence, and in time, he would lose himself completely and pass on to the void. He hears the door open, the sound seeming so far away, and he observes as the watchers around him begin to turn to a singular point within the condensing fog, a smile forming on his face once more as the hulking, centipede-like body of Earl came barreling through, the raw, unadulterated, and all-consuming power of the being barreling through the monsters as if they were no more than a mildly thick brush in the woods, his many arms reaching out, grabbing the watchers, snapping them in half, removing limbs, and even shoveling some within his massive maw, their faces quickly appearing on his body. Simon, feeling a sense of renewal from the poison in his veins, obtained his footing, and in one quick movement he snapped his arms backwards and twisted his head around to meet his captor, his teeth elongating into fangs. The presence of Earl had awoken his hunger, and this time he would feed without contempt for gluttonous feelings. Gripping the watcher tightly, Simon attacked, biting through the being's neck and ripping out its internal workings, the sinewy flesh and muscle pulling away in a long pull of his head. The watcher's grip was released, and Simon fed on its flesh. Then all hell broke loose as the remaining watchers descending upon the two otherworldly beings, biting, punching, tearing skin. Earl, fighting off a group of 20, was drugged to the ground as one of his legs were removed from his body. Simon tried to run to him, but it was of no use. There were too many. He would never get to Earl in enough time to help. A blast of energy sent them all sprawling to the ground. Simon, getting back up to his feet, looked out to see Aubrey and Mr. Fields, his chest filled with pride at seeing them both. The two he had mentored, the two he had watched over, the two he loved, ready to do whatever they could to fight for him. Aubrey tilts her head to the side, and 3 of the watchers crumple into balls of gelatinous goo right before their bodies ignite in black and white flame. Mr. Fields runs to Earl, placing his hands upon the watchers that once again began their assault of him. They rise to their feet and begin attacking their brethren, killing them without mercy. And one by one, the watchers begin to flee, leaving the mist and retreating back into the veil. Part 8. The Trade. Merrick saunters up to the boy, placing his hand upon his shoulder. The boy turns to him, his face no longer there, only the pink fleshy skin staring back at him.
Jesus fucking Christ. What happened to your face, kid? I guess you can't really talk. Now can you? Shit, that is fucked up. You must have had a hard time in school. I can almost hear those jokes now. It's no wonder you just kinda consumed your reality. Listen, I'm not sure you remember me. Fuck, I'm not even sure you can see me. I think you're looking at me. Ugh. Can you just turn away from me? You're freaking me out a bit. No? Okay. Anyways. I was a bit rude to you back in that cave, kid. But you have to see that I was the way I was because I wanted something. And you were my way to get it. I know that doesn't make me a good person. I never claimed to be one. But I'm going to have to be sort of a dick to you one more time. And this will be it, I promise. I need you to, I need you to consume my essence. Make me a part of you. And then I need you to let me do my thing while I'm inside you. Wait, that came out so wrong. I'm not into that kind of stuff. What I'm trying to say is, I need to have control of your body. You think you can do that for me?
The boy moved his face towards the figurine within Merrick's hand.
Oh, yeah. This? That's the part where I'm going to have to be a dick. You see, when I have control, I will need your essence to take a little trip in here. There's nothing to worry about. It will feel weird for a while, or so I'm told it will. But you will get used to it. And think of it this way. It will be like a vacation for you, the real you. You will no longer have to dwell within this body, doing things you really don't want to be doing. So what do you say, kid? Do we have a deal?
The boy turns away from Merrick, dismissing him entirely.
Winslow told me you wouldn't like that plan, but I had to try. Okay, well, we're going to do this the hard way.
Merrick pulls the knife from his waistband and in one quick and fluid motion slides it across the boy's throat, the arterial spray shooting out of him like a geyser. He takes the obsidian doll and begins to collect the boy's blood, each droplet absorbing within the inanimate figure.
Ha! I guess this was actually the easy way, and way more fun than just asking. I will say that it is kind of fucking weird that you aren't putting up a fight at all, kid. You creepy-ass little bastard.
The blood flowing from the boy's neck begins to slow, now only bubbling out and oozing down the front of him.
And now, it's time for me to work some magic. If you're still in there, kid, this may sting a bit.
Merrick reaches within the boy's open throat and grips the back of his spine, the bony, jagged object cutting his hand as he did so. He pulls at the vertebra and then pushes, snapping the discs in between, being careful not to damage his spinal cord, doing it the way the toy maker had told him to. And he finally feels the column break free and the trickle of spinal fluid drip down his fingers. He delicately places his pointer finger upon the boy's spinal cord and raises the doll in the air with his other hand. And with a triumphant bellow, he speaks out to the void.
Nicodemus, I have come to make a trade.
A loud boom resonated around him, and all time seemed to stop. Yet Merrick watched as a figure descended from the veil, landing hard upon the earth before him. It looked much like the watchers around him, except his size was enormous. Like the giants told from the stories of old, the being towered over the landscape.
What trade have you to propose, Merrick Ogletree? What would I need from someone like you?
Well, for one, this boy here. You see, I have my hand in him like he's a fucking ventriloquist dummy, and my finger is on his spinal column, right at the point where I can take his essence and transfer it into this neat little doll here. A doll that would capture the entirety of the conduit. And that would close this massive fucking crack in the sky and make it impossible for your ass to be free while the void consumes.
Why shouldn't I just kill you and take what is already promised to me?
You see, and that's the thing. You could, but why would you want to? The way I see it, Nikki, old pal, is that you and I can do some really fucked up shit within the void. Maybe expand your little empire outwards a bit and have some real fun. And turn these fucking Watchers into something more than those who just peer through the veil.
Then what do you require?
It's simple. I want to become the conduit. I want you to merge this boy's and my essences together into a fucked up amalgamation of doom. And I want full and total control over the body.
And what of this place?
I don't know. Fucking eat it as a snack. I don't really give a fuck. I'd rather be done with it anyways. I have a few assholes stuck in a cave that I'd rather not see ever again.
It will be done.
Time reignited as the fracture in reality began to mend, taking with it all of the existence it once inhabited. The boy no longer being held by Merrick, and Merrick's lifeless body lay on the ground. In his hand he held the ebony doll, its obsidian eyes moving back and forth as it watched the universe fall within the endless abyss. Part 9. Destruction, Chaos, and Mayhem.
So, the deal is complete then?
Yes. I have the conduit, and I will hold the Watchers at bay for a time.
And I will uphold my part of the deal as well. We will allow for them to reach beyond the veil, to be free and do what they will, insofar as they do not interfere with my purpose.
Then it is done. You have never told me, what is your grand scheme in all of this? You know that together we can make every life in this existence suffer. Together, you would rule over it all.
And that is our difference, Nicodemus. You want to rule, and I merely want to be the suggestion, the one who hides within the periphery, to do what I want when I want, without the burden of some governing body.
Then why do you need to control the void? Why not live on with your acolytes and place your will amongst creation?
It is because of the void that I am who I am now. And it is because of the void that I will never be two again, and I aim to destroy it and everything that dwells within its endless darkness.
To destroy the void is to destroy the balance of everything.
Do you plan to stop me?
No, but I will be watching. You know that there are things that dwell in the abyss that are far beyond anything we could imagine. If some would call us gods, these would be more.
We are done here, Nicodemus.
Lilith turns and her projection leaves the edge of eternity. Nicodemus lingers for some time, contemplating her words, wondering if she could still muster the strength to destroy the void in its entirety, knowing that without the conduit, the ability to travel within the endless abyss would be nearly impossible. He feels the creeping sensation of something malevolent watching him, slowly making its way to him from behind.
How much of this did you hear?
Oh, you know, something about ruling all of reality. Something about destroying the void. Then I just kind of spaced out thinking about how much I want to murder this woman for even thinking she could take away what I want.
And what is it that you want, Meredith?
I want it all. I want to be considered a fucking god of destruction, chaos, and mayhem.
Then you will serve me well. For I too wish to have it all. For far too long I have lingered between reality and unreality. Cursed to capture the essence of the unworthy and feed on the ashes of their bodies. Together, we can rewrite the narrative and unleash hell upon existence.
Nicky, old boy, I knew I would like you. Now, is there anything we can do about this body I'm in? I would really like to not have to go through the whole puberty thing again. What an awkward and confusing time that was.